Hello and welcome to the programme. We were going to lead the show with the battle between the EU and Apple, but then this rocket exploded and Facebook moved to the top. What's the connection? Well, the rocket was going to carry Facebook's first ever satellite, which was to bring the internet to remote parts of Africa. André-Pierre Duplessis explains.
This SpaceX rocket was meant to aid Facebook's internet ambitions. On Saturday, it was scheduled to launch the social network's satellite into space that would beam down free internet to Africa. But the explosion at NASA's Cape Canaveral is a major setback for the project, just a day after CEO Mark Zuckerberg shared his plans in Nigeria.
Trying to connect everyone in the world. The community right now has 1.7 billion people, but there are 7 billion people in the world. So there are more than 5 billion people who we need to reach in their native language, in the technology stack that they're using.
Zuckerberg's plan to become the sole provider of internet in one of the world's biggest mobile data growth regions seems generous.
That drives me. Connecting the world, giving everyone a voice.
The program, called Internet.org, has already been rolled out to 20 African countries, where Zuckerberg pays cell phone providers to offer free access to Facebook and products it owns like WhatsApp. And in the rest of the continent, Zuckerberg plans to sidestep cell phone and data providers by launching his own satellite that would beam internet to remote communities. Internet freedom advocates are concerned by the initiative. They say its definition of the internet is misleading, since it only offers free access to Facebook products. Critics say this makes Zuckerberg the effective gatekeeper to the internet, stifling competition. Just a few months ago, India banned the same initiative, as it believed that the internet should be free and fair to all. Zuckerberg, who had invested millions in the project, was accused of being a digital colonialist. It led to the prominent Facebook board member, Mark Andreessen, to tweet, "Anti-colonialism has been economically catastrophic for India for decades. Why stop now?" Supporters of Internet.org say with African governments moving too slow to connect its citizens, Facebook is merely filling a vacuum in taking the web to all corners of the world. With Thursday's explosion destroying Zuckerberg's satellite, remote parts of Africa will have to wait a little while longer before getting access to Facebook for free. André-Pierre Duplessis, TRT World.
Well, let's go to Lagos now, and we're joined by John Paul Iwuoa. He is a business strategist and founder of Small Starter Africa. Jean Paul, were you very pleased to see the Facebook billionaire in Lagos?
Yes, we're all very excited to have Mark Zuckerberg in Lagos. It was a very strong message to the rest of Africa and the world, and it acknowledged, the growing force of tech here in Nigeria.
What do you make of this allegation that he could be a digital colonialist? What does that mean to you?
Well, I think the fears are real, and we need to take them very seriously. Because while I acknowledge the significant boost this will give to Africa, it's going to bring over 200 million people online for the first time, which is a very, very important thing for Africa. In the short term, it sounds like very good news, but we need to be scared for the long term, because there are so many connotations, it's discriminatory. I think it's some sort of arms race to control the internet, and it's not good for our continent.
Okay, listen, he visited Nigeria's Silicon Valley, Yaba, and he said he'd actually like to take lessons away from Yaba to the real Silicon Valley, if you like. What kind of things do you think the United States can learn from Nigeria?
I would have to give it a very simple term. Here, we call it frugal innovation.
Right.
We are very limited by resources. We have very little support and funding from the government, unlike Silicon Valley. These are individuals, young entrepreneurs who are using the limited resources we have to solve everyday problems that we have in Africa. So I think our own term for it will be frugal innovation. Just like M-Pesa in East Africa that came with the mobile money initiative and revolutionized payment systems across the world. I think there is a whole lot the world can learn from places like Africa that are doing their best to innovate in the middle of very limited resources.
And of course, necessity is the mother of invention. Jean Paul, thank you very much for joining us from Lagos with your insight. Thank you.